First things first, today I'm going to go into a little bit about 12 Stones. Not a whole lot because I generally didn't follow this band that much. I have listened to a lot of their work, mostly singles and stuff like that, maybe a few other songs here and there. Hit or miss. It's been a hit or miss kind of band for me, 12 Stones. Not a band that I followed, throughout my life. But I do recall listening to Paul McCoy, and I didn't really know, the guy's name or, the band or anything at all back whenever I first heard Evanescence song, which I'm sure that's where most people probably got introduced to that band. I think that's kind of where that might have been like the springboard for that band, being in that Evanescence song, which I think Evanescence was already pretty established back then, but I think that was one of the songs that kind of got both of those bands' careers kind of going a little bit. And 12 Stones has been a pretty good hard rock band. I mean, they have Christian roots, but they don't consider themselves to be a Christian-oriented band, like a full-on Christian band. And I can understand that because it's like they have themes, and there's a lot of bands that have themes that are spiritual, but they don't necessarily identify as Christian bands. Because I think to identify as a Christian band, you might have to actually use maybe biblical terms, use wording and a lot of stuff that might come from the Bible. I don't know. I mean, some other bands, they have Christian influences, but they don't necessarily identify as that. And I guess I can agree and understand why they would probably choose that route. I mean, they kind of want to bridge a gap, I guess. I've heard a lot of those musicians say, like Skillet and maybe Thousand Foot Crutch and some of those other bands, a lot of the hard rock musicians, a lot of those people, and maybe in different genres too, they try to bridge a gap that's like they're not specifically just catering to one audience, they're trying to bridge the gap between secular music and Christian music, I guess. So they're kind of like in between, I guess, when it comes to that with just the music style in general. Maybe their beliefs are solely Christian, but they have, yeah. Today, without further ado, okay. I wanted to kind of go into a little bit about some of the new stuff that they have out. They have a couple new songs out. Picture Perfect and Blessing are the full songs, but they do have snippets of the entire album. If you go and look on iTunes and stuff like that, or their Facebook page, they have pretty much, all the songs you can kind of give a little listen to. They have little snippets. It does sound like it's going to be a pretty solid album. The new album that they have coming out here. So today I want to go into a little bit about that. Picture Perfect. I think they just released this like a month or two ago. You have to excuse the cars going by. So yeah, these two songs, they released maybe about a month, well, the one they just released recently. They had just released it recently, probably within the past, I think, couple days. But either way, Picture Perfect is one of the songs, and they have released a video for it as well. The video is like a bunch of old school, old-timey kind of classic movie clips and stuff like that, movie and shows and stuff like that. And it's mixed with some current day. I don't know where they shot it. Maybe it's stuff that they shot with some people. Looks like there's some new footage in there too, but it's kind of spliced in there. Then there's some weird, trippy kind of stuff that's spliced in there, like paint blotches and there's a bunch of stuff in it. But the Picture Perfect song itself is a song that kind of goes into... Get out of here, cat. get Picture Perfect song in general is more of a song that's supposed to go back to the old school, going back to a place in your mind that was like classic, I guess. And I think that's the vibe that they're trying to go with that song. Going back to a simpler time. You know, that's what the song's really trying to go for. It's going back to a simpler time in life, simpler time in your mind. Maybe going back there for a safe haven or just to get away from all the stuff that's going on in the world today. And that's what it kind of shows with the old school, you know, movies and stuff like that. You know, that's what it's kind of displaying. So that's the vibe that I got from it. Still relatively heavy song. Doesn't seem like it's too far outside of what they were typically known for with their post-grunge, alternative rock sound, kind of Christian songs. It seems like they're still, you know, catering to that audience. It still feels like 12 Stones. Doesn't seem like they're trying to do too many new things with their sound. It might be a little bit heavier at times. Like, we'll go on to the next one, Blessing. Blessing does seem like it's a heavier song. Maybe some of their earlier work, you know, it could kind of reflect on some of their earlier work. Like, I was just listening to a little bit of their self-titled and the one that just came after that, like the Potter's Field, I think. And yeah, Potter's Field and some of their older stuff was a little bit heavier. They've always had a heavy kind of feel to them though, so it's not like too out of the ordinary for them. But Blessing, yeah, it does seem like it's a little heavier. Pretty solid riffs from start to finish. The start, I'd say it's a pretty good beginner, a pretty good opener. I mean, these two songs are, Picture Perfect's actually middle of the album. From the list that I've looked at, it's like middle of the album, and it's a more middle of the road kind of song. Blessing, some of the themes that are in it, it's like about control, losing it, overcoming controlling people who might be trying to stifle you or set you back in life. The pain of said influences, see, we have cats around here, could be a blessing, and that's what the blessing is supposed to be. It's like having these experiences in life from these negative people, it being more of a blessing in disguise. That's kind of what the song's really talking about, is like all of these experiences that we have in our lives, right? This pain, this turmoil, this stuff, the trials and tribulations that we're going through is like, it's all kind of building us into who we are. And I just watched a video, and I might even link the video in here. If I can find it on YouTube or do something, I'll link it in this, where I just watched it, and it was talking about how all your experiences are building you into who you are, so why would you want to erase that part of yourself? So I thought that was pretty interesting. And I'll probably link to that, yeah. Link to that, description, put a card up, I'll do some things. But yeah, I just wanted to talk briefly about, some of the new stuff that they have out. Picture Perfect, Simpler Times, pretty good song, middle of the road as far as heaviness. Blessing, a little bit heavier on the start, you know what I mean? It's more of a beginning opener album song, but it's pretty hard, and it's a pretty good song. I liked it. I liked what it was talking about. I liked the overall theme, and I like where this album could be going, just based on some of the stuff I've heard. So I'm looking forward to it. And overall, with these Christian alternative rock bands and stuff like that, I do get into a lot of them. I get into stuff like Skillet, 1,000 Foot, 32 Leaves sometimes. yeah, and some of the other ones here and there. But yeah, so I think I'm going to leave off here with that. I'm definitely going to be keeping my eyes out for this album. I may end up picking it up if I think it's good. I may end up doing a full review on it, my thoughts and opinions about it, discuss it a little bit. But for now, I'm just going to leave off here and say that these two songs are pretty solid, so I'd say keep a lookout for them. And never stop looking for that truth, and keep your eyes on the prize.